when you stray. No one remembers your name.
Look at me! It's showtime.
When you're straying.
I'm going to tell you what a conservative is, what we hold dear, and what makes us so great. First and foremost, we believe in individual responsibility. Success is earned, not given. And in a country that wants handouts, we choose accountability. We want to teach our children to work hard, speak truth, and stand tall, even if it's uncomfortable. We also believe in limited government. Washington doesn't know better than our families, our churches, and our communities. Bureaucrats are not supposed to raise our children. We are. They're not supposed to teach them values. That's our job. Because when government gets too big, our freedoms get too small. On that same note, we believe in faith, family, and freedom, and not just as slogans, but genuinely as pillars that hold this country up. We honor God, we protect life, and we recognize that the strength of this country starts in the home. Next, we support law and order, not chaos in the streets. And that's not because we worship authority, but it's because we respect peace. Because freedom without order becomes anarchy. And we are not a nation of anarchy, we're a nation of laws. Next, we believe in free market and fair opportunity. Everybody deserves a shot, but you are not entitled to reap the benefits of somebody else's effort. The government does not create prosperity, hardworking Americans do. Our values are not outdated, they are timeless. They are not extreme, they are necessary. Because if we lose them, we lose the soul of our country. So to all my conservatives watching this, stop apologizing. Stop apologizing for tradition, morality, strong borders, strong families, and strong faith. Raise your voices with me, not in anger, but in resolve. Don't bend to the cultural trends, the online mobs, because we stand on something stronger, something eternal. Because when we hold the line and we defend our truth and we live our values boldly, not only do we preserve America, we restore her. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.
Okay, people, welcome back, or if it's your first time here, welcome. This is going to be my third and final video on Charlie Kirk. So last video, I shared a very quick and personal story to try and make my point. In a nutshell, basically, last video, I was making the point that the major media outlets in this country are destroying the people of this country. I shared a story of my really good polar opposite political friend, whom I love very much. But I'd made the point of just in a 4-day span of how his outlook and his attitude changed within 4 days because of media, mass media.
This man is standing in his pulpit, supposed to be a man of God. He should have been reading his Bible. If he had any spiritual discernment, he would know he need to go listen to what Charlie Kirk said so he can have a fair assessment before he say what he about to say right now. Have you listened to Charlie Kirk's stuff before you get out here and say something about this man, the man of God? Have you listened to his stuff? Or are you watching clips pop up of people who hate him? A man of God allegedly get behind the pulpit in this congregation with no wisdom and say this. Roll it.
And I do not celebrate the killing of anyone. Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be assassinated. But I'm overwhelmed seeing the flags of the United States of America at half-staff calling this nation to honor and venerate a man who was an unapologetic racist and spent all of his life sowing seeds of division and hate into this land. And hearing people with selective rage who were mad about Charlie Kirk but didn't give a damn about Melissa Hortman and her husband when they were shot down in their home, tell me I ought to have compassion for the death of a man who had no respect for my own life. I am sorry, but there's nowhere in Bible where we we are taught to honor evil. And how you die does not redeem how you lived.
Look at these sorry man. All right,
You do-
all right. Let him play. Finish it.
Do not become a hero in your death when you are a weapon of the enemy in your life.
I'm finna eat. Let him finish.
I can abhor the violence that took your life, but I don't have to celebrate how you chose to live.
Now you know you ain't got no connection to God if you talking like this fool. Why do you think all these people crying? Why do you think all these people putting the flag at half mast? Why do you think all these people are celebrating? Why do you think all these people are at their churches? They're doing their memorial services, flowers pouring out, buying merch, supporting Charlie. Why do you think people are doing it? Why do you think he got 1 million more people follow him on social media, millions more follow him on Instagram? We looked it up. 87 million views in a week of Charlie Kirk's material. Why do you think it's so? If you knew God and you knew the Bible, you would know because he's a man of God. And that's why it hurt when he died. And you don't even know him and it hurt. That's because somebody with that much power and that much authority and put God first in everything he did, you feel it when somebody like that died. That Charlie Kirk lived his life according to the scripture. And you may not like him telling the truth about you, but he told the truth anyway. You can't name a quote that Charlie Kirk said in context that wasn't true. You can't name it. You sorry pastors. You don't have to like Charlie, but you're a fool if you say he lived this life according to the enemy. And you're supposed to be reading your Bible.
And I am all the more concerned about how America and the media is trying to remix a life of racism and white supremacy that went forth unchecked. We cannot say somebody who called Ketanji Brown a DEI hire as somebody who is the face of Christendom when the person who said it dropped out of community college. You cannot say that the Civil Rights Bill should not have been passed and black people were in a better place in the 1940s when they had segregation and did not have freedom. You cannot say in no uncertain terms that George Floyd was a thug and Martin Luther King Jr. is not deserving of a holiday. My heart is mourning today from pastors and churches all over this country who are going to have moments of silence and celebrate somebody who is trying to take the nation backwards. But God, help me in here. I'm concerned about all of these Negro preachers who've been, in fact, talking about that this man that was killed was the answer to Christ in the earth. Y'all ain't saying nothing. They having moments of silence in black churches all over the country over a man that was racist and a white supremacist. How dare you compare him to Martin Luther King? The only thing that Charlie, Chris, and Martin Luther King got in common is both of them was killed by a white man. After that, they got nothing else in common.
Amazing. Jesse Lee Peterson would say amazing. Wow. Let me introduce you to Mr. Sean and Miss Mel and their channel. Mr. Sean and Miss Mel, this is their second ever Charlie Kirk video, so you don't have to dig even past the surface to understand what these major media outlets are pushing to make this man look the way he does. So what did they do? Breaking news. They decided to jump into material and make their own minds up. I would encourage you to go down the rabbit hole with them if you're still thinking Charlie Kirk is a racist. This was their second video. They're on their, and I believe right now they're on about their 24th video.
I have to go back to this. I don't actually think skin color matters that much. I don't. I want a country that aims towards MLK's dream of one based on content of character and one on competency. I think the hyper-racial obsession of this country is really bad.
Wait a minute.
You want to go back?
Now you people lied. No. I saw so many people saying that Charlie Kirk hated Martin Luther King and didn't believe in his dream. You people were posting that everywhere on social media, saying that Charlie Kirk said Martin Luther King was a fool. Did you just hear what he said about Martin Luther King?
I did not.
Oh my Lord.
I did, but let's just take it back just a notch. Here we go.
Not to be called the R word, to demonstrate that we aren't racist, to show to people that I have compassion for others and that I want to try to help, people of different skin color. But at its fundamental core, I have to go back to this. I don't actually think skin color matters that much. I don't. I want a country that aims towards MLK's dream of one based on content of character and one on competency. I think the hyper-racial obsession of this country is really bad. It's really bad for everybody involved, including Black America.
This why y'all schools messed up. This why y'all communities messed up. This why y'all ain't never gonna make it nowhere listening to people like that. Listen how delusional he is. Charlie called, first of all, I know Charlie. I've been working with Charlie since 2017. We held the first Black Leadership Summit at the White House for Black conservatives to go. Never has happened in the history of the country. Charlie's idea, the white man you talking about, his idea. We got one Black man to donate us money to get all those kids out. We pay every single one of their airfare. We put them up in a hotel, and some of them ain't never been to the White House before. Some of them ain't never put on a dress before. They never had an occasion where they can dress up before. We paid for every one of them to get there. One Black man gave 20 grand. Who was helping us raise money to get Black people to the White House? White people. The man that stood next to me that would go to fundraiser to fundraiser, the woman that stood next to me to go from fundraiser to fundraiser to tell people about the mission that Charlie Kirk started was number white people. And then you turn around, that man ain't never been racist to me. Charlie ain't got a racist bone in his body. Y'all Negroes don't want to hear the truth from a Black man. The funny thing is, you claim that it's bad that people are honoring Charlie Kirk and he was much better of a man than George Floyd. And y'all preaching at eulogies, y'all giving a moment of silence in your church for a thug that robbed a woman at gunpoint, that spent his whole life degrading the Black community, using drugs, stealing, and doing foolery. Wasn't nowhere near his kids. He wasn't doing nothing right. I here celebrating his life. But a man, because he's white, who honored Christ in everything he did, you now got a problem with it. Black folks at the barber shop talk about the same thing Charlie Kirk talks about. But y'all mad because he white. Anybody that is a scholar knows that the growth and success of Black people per capita in comparison to the growth and success of every other race was disproportionately better in the 30s, 40s, and 50s than it is today. Now, you know it, the scholars know it, but if a white man say it, you got a problem with it because you the racist.
How they would sit and spend, and they would form narratives with agendas. That is in itself propaganda. I had shared a video about college kids on campuses and how if my very good friend, who's a very intelligent man, family of his own, if he can be influenced in those 3 to 4 days, imagine how easy it is to influence these individuals from high school going into college. When they call Charlie Kirk and they call Elon Musk and they call President Trump Nazis, there's an irony in all of that. To me, the Nazis were well known for their propaganda machine.
Creating the ultimate propaganda machine. In 1935, Himmler founded an organization that would become one of history's most twisted academic institutions, the Ahnenerbe, or Ancestral Heritage. On the surface, it appeared to be a legitimate research institute, staffed with archaeologists, anthropologists, and historians. In reality, it was a propaganda machine designed to manufacture evidence for Nazi racial theories.
This absolute filth and lies have been spewed on every channel to the masses. And just like my friend did, he regurgitated it and sent it back out in the world. That's exactly what these children are doing. These kids on these college campuses are being influenced so heavily by these just god-awful narratives that's been spun by the major media outlet. We will have a discussion on how the major media outlets can influence somebody like my friend. They are absolutely demolishing our children in colleges. I would love to have a conversation with you. I would love to hear your opinions and your side of things, why you think the way you do. I would love to hear that. Please feel free to leave me a comment and we will chop it up. I promise I'll reply to all comments. Never put the blame on someone else in your life. You need to learn and accept accountability. The good people in your life will bring you happiness, while the bad people in your life will give you experience. You will often learn lessons, even from some of the worst people that cross paths in your lifetime. And some of the best people in your life, they will give you memories, the type of memories that will stay with you an entire lifetime. We are often let down by the people that we trust the most, and that makes sense, because for those people, a lot of us have let our guard down. So it's not surprising that we are often let down by the people that we most trust and that are closest to us. But some of the people that we love the most leave us when we need them the most. This is just a fact of life, and a lot of us have to learn that the hard way. While the flip side of that coin is, other people will stay. Even if you're asking them to leave, they'll still stay with you. One of the hardest aspects of life is knowing whose hand to shake and whose hand you can hold. That's life in a nutshell, guys. That's learning to hold on, and that's learning to let go. I thank you for taking time out to check this video out. You could be other places, doing other things with other people, yet you're here watching this video, and I thank you very much for it. And I hope to see you guys next time.
But, man, I have to get some Pokemon doll before everybody else does, because then I'll be cute.
Can't it wait till tomorrow, hun?
But, man, I have to get the first one, else people won't think I'm cute.
All this talk of getting old is getting me down my